Hello, my name is Peter and I'm with Georgia Online Instructors. Okay, you got hired with a security company. What next? Now that you've been hired, there will be a background check that will be conducted upon you. All right. So what they're looking for, that the security company is ensuring that if that they don't want to be surprised, they don't want to put you working at a bank, and if that individual is arrested for thievery, they have to do a background check on you. Generally, background checks normally last or could take up to a couple days. All right. So that's normal and that's standard in our industry. So we have to conduct a background check. All right. So next, you're going to be scheduled a training class. Now, in most states, it requires even unarmed security to be certified. Folks, there's a difference between certification and licensure. Certification means that you have been through a mandated training course taught to you by a licensed instructor for that state. Okay. Now, that is not licensure. That is not licensure. That is exactly what it says, certification. You will receive a certification by that licensed instructor. Now, if you want to become licensed, generally you're dealing with, in some of the states, you're dealing with an armed officer. Then you will have to become licensed after your certification. Okay. But some of the states, and a lot of the states here in the South, at least, it just requires you to be certified. Obviously, we're in the state of Georgia, so Georgia requires you to be certified within 6 months of hiring. A lot of companies would like to get you certified prior to you even going to your site, because it is a nightmare trying to remove you off the site in 5 months later, and trying to find someone to replace you for those 24 hours. All right. So now, again, at least I'm just going to speak for Georgia. Georgia requires a 24-hour mandated unarmed security training course taught by a licensed instructor, as myself. So it's not a hard course, but it's a course that you need to know, and you at least know what to do when you get out to the site when you finish our courses. We do have online courses available. You go to Georgia Online Instructors, and you will find several classes. If you're not in the Atlanta area, you'll find classes that you can take. If you live in the state of Georgia, it's only good for the state of Georgia. You can take online. All right. So now, once the background's completed, they're gonna call you in for scheduling for your training. And once your training is completed, you're going to receive a certificate of completion by a licensed instructor. All right. Once the class is finished, and on our course, it's a 3-day course, 24 hours. You're going to be issued uniforms. You're going to be issued uniforms, your company identification, and you're going to fill out your payroll documents, i.e. W-4. They want to know how much. That's when you want to state if you want extra withholdings coming from your check, or if you don't want the minimum withholdings coming from your check. That's very important. All right. And in addition to that, you're going to be discussed with your hourly rate, folks. So, folks, once that is all presented to you, that is when you need to, if you decide to take the job and you want to continue further with it, now you're going to be assigned a supervisor. From that standpoint, your supervisor, he or she's going to ensure that you are in proper uniform, that you have your uniforms, you have everything that you need to come to work with, and that supervisor is going to give you a schedule. Folks, that schedule is not like Burger King here. Okay, I want you to understand this is shift work. Burger King, you're going to have it your way all the time. If that supervisor issues you a schedule, he or she can't chop that schedule up just to fit your needs. If it works for you, you accept it. If that schedule does not work for you, don't accept this schedule. Request to be stationed or assigned somewhere else. And I want to make sure that you understand that. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, say something. Okay. So that supervisor will give you what are your days off, what time you have to go to work, what time you get off. All right. So it is important to know if that schedule or that location that you're assigned, hopefully it's close to your home, where you don't have to spend extra gas money, especially these gas prices today. So hopefully it's close to your home, and hopefully it will work for you. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about prior to you going to work, the first day on the job, prior to you going to work. All right. You must ensure that you have your uniforms all ready, your shoes all ready. You don't want to wake up taking your shower, and then all of a sudden you were rushing to get out the house. You don't want to be late for your first day. So folks, you have to have everything ready. All right. My advice to you is to get plenty of sleep prior to your shift. All right. Plenty of sleep prior to your shift. If you're working shift work, if you're working overnights, you're going to have to, it's going to take time to get used to. All right. So these particular steps is recommended. And I've been in this industry here for over 25 years. So I'm just going to give you everything that I know how to make you and how to help you become a better security officer. All right. So now you want to get plenty of sleep prior to coming to work. One of the worst things you want to do is come to work working a midnight shift or working a shift and you're tired. You're fighting sleep. You have 6 more hours left of your shift. That is a bad feeling. So if you just get some sleep prior to that, that will allow you to stay alert and you observe things that you need to observe. All right. All right. So now you also need to ensure that you have your transportation set for the next or prior to you coming to work. For an example, if you're working midnight shift, if you want to go and get some sleep at 3 p.m. so that you can be alert and you can be fresh coming into work, you need to already have gas in your car if you're going to be driving. If you're going to be catching an Uber or Lyft, you need to already schedule or reserve your time. All right. Now, if you're taking public transportation, as you already know, folks, some of these public transportations are not reliable, to say the least. So you may have to get there a little early. OK, so keep that in mind. And remember, most of you officers are going to be relieving someone. So there's somebody that is waiting and depending on you to show up to relieve them because they want to go home themselves. They have just completed their 8-hour shifts. One of the things I always tell security officers that's relieving other officers is to show a little courtesy. Know the person that you're relieving. Get their cell phone number or call the gate shack or call the office the building where you're going to be working at. If the security officer is answering the phone, and let them know, hey, I'm en route. Be there in about 20 or be there in about 15 minutes. That is a well received phone call from someone who's waiting to get off work and to know that, hey, my relief is coming. Because one of the things that we don't like to see is that relief is late after you've already worked your shift. All right. So it's just a courtesy thing to call or to text your buddy that you're relieving that I'm en route. All right. One of the things also you want to keep in mind, you should be a rule of thumb that you arrive on your site at least 15 minutes earlier. 15 minutes earlier. Now, if you're an armed officer, that will give you time to get your things together. Put your gun belt on or whatever the case may be. It will just, again, you have time to read over any memos. Because remember, if there's only one person that is supposed to be on that shift, you can't sign in early, but you want to get there early enough so that you could review all of the necessary pass on information. All right. Okay. So that's very important. Try to get there at least 15 minutes early. So welcome to site. Now, once you accept the site, now, if your shift started at 11 p.m. or 2300 hours, all right, there's only one of you can be working at one time. So one of you going to get off at 2300 hours and the other one was going to come on at 2300 hours. And that's for billing purposes. It's very important that we follow this information, and it will help out your HR department and your payroll. All right. Excuse me. Now, once you accept the job site, accept the place where you work and you relieve the new officer, ensure that you have, if there are any master keys, make sure that you have possession of those master keys. Count them, folks. If it's 5 of them, if it's 6 master keys for that location, count them. If there's a vehicle, walk around that vehicle, ensuring that that the guy you just relieved didn't have an accident and didn't report it. Okay. Any scratches or dents, you need to indicate that as if you were renting a car. You want to indicate that scratches or dent onto your report. And most of your company is going to have a vehicle log sheet. Check out the mileage. Mileage in, mileage out is also important. Look at the tires of the car if you're going to be relieving someone with a patrol vehicle. Look at the tires, making sure that there's good tread on the tires. All right. One of the things, because one of our missions is our main mission as security officer, observe and report. Folks, if you have a dead radio or a dead cell phone or the company phone or security phone, you can't report. So make sure that your radio's charged from the previous shift, and that the cell phone is also charged by the previous shift. All right, and you're going to be doing the exact same thing when your relief relieves you. All right, now, so your reliever's already left. You're working. You have the job site. It is yours. You are the property. You are in charge of that property. Your client is no longer there. That means you're the boss of that property. What you say goes, within so many reasons. Anyone coming onto that post, you're going to have a post order that tells you exactly what to do and how to do it. So you want to stick with your post orders. That is a contractual agreement, folks. Stick with your post order. Do not operate outside of your post orders. It can get you and the security company that you work for in a lot of trouble. So just stick with your post orders and do exactly what it says. All right. During your shift, you're going to be required to do what we call a daily activity report. That is basically a journal that you're going to write down every hour and an hour of what you did. Now, some of your job sites are going to have what we call a guard tour system, and that system is an electronic device that's going to be stationed. It's going to have a little post stationed throughout your property. Now, that post those posts will tell you once you whether you're using your phone or you're using the guard tour system itself. When you touch it or when you press the button, it's going to show that this security officer is at this post at, let's say, for example, at 23:30 hours. He's going to go to the next post. He's going to touch it or he's going to scan it, and that guard tour system is going to indicate this security is at post number B at 23:40 hours, and so on and so forth. Okay, that is a great track record to show that the quality that your company had promised the client, that they are abiding by their contract, and that we're conducting patrols every hour on the hour. Some may ask, well, so what if there's adverse weather conditions? No one's expecting you to walk out when there's lightning and it's outside. So you want to place that on your daily activity report to indicate that it was adverse weather condition, lightning, or strong winds. No rounds was performed at that time. So you want to let them know why they don't see that rounds on for that particular hour. Okay. All right. Also, if there's incidents that happen, the same way we learn that you will learn in the schools, the security school, that if there's incidents happen, for example, an alarm happening, there's a medical call, something happened, you see a disturbance on your site, you need an incident report. That manager, when that client, when they come in the next morning, they're going to read your incident report like it's a newspaper. All right. So it's important to have and to follow the way you were trained, the who, what, when, where, and how, and to place that onto your reports. OK. All right. So now you about to finish your shift. Now the same thing that you require for the person that you relieve to have that they're required to make sure that that the cell phone is charged, the radio's charged, there's fuel in the vehicles. You need to do the exact same thing for the person that's relieving you. And who knows, you may even get a text from the person, hey, I'm en route. And you will feel the pleasure of knowing that your relief is coming and that you don't have to stay late for that job site. All right. Well, I hope this was able to help you guys, some of you guys that have never worked security before. And I want to welcome you to the security industry. You are a part of the criminal justice industry. So we have our standards and we have our professionalism that we expect you to abide by. And welcome to the security world. Thank you and have a wonderful tour.